This episode is sponsored by Contentfy, a premium video editing and content repurposing service for busy content creators, influencers, brands, podcasters, YouTubers, and marketers. Contentfy provides unlimited end-to-end editing and repurposing services to help you get your video and audio content edited and repurposed quickly, easily, and reliably. Join other busy content creators, founders, brands, and marketers who now spend even more time creating while they take care of the rest. You no longer need to worry about spending hours editing anymore. Just create content, build your audience, and grow your business. If you're a content creator looking to save time and money, or looking to outsource your content marketing team, get your first free video edited now at contentfy.co. If you'd like to sponsor the SaaS District podcast or recommend any guests that you think would be valuable to be on the show, visit horizoncapital.com/SaaS-podcast today. Thanks again, folks. Hello, everyone. This is your host, Akil Jabbar, and welcome back to another episode of SaaS District. Remember that we've been diversifying our content, and you, as the listeners of the show, have been asking for it. We'll be segmenting the show from now on into 3 separate categories. If you haven't already noticed, we have the Investor Podcast, where we talk with top leaders in the VC and SaaS investment space. The second one will be the Pitch one, where we talk with founders ready to seek funding and want to pitch their ideas. So you'll see that in orange. And the classic episodes where we talk with top leaders, marketers, and founders in the SaaS industry. So when you're looking for the next episode, episode cover green is for investors, orange is for pitch, and blue is for the other SaaS District episodes. So thank you guys so much for the feedback, and please let us know what you think. We're constantly looking to find new ways to improve our content so we can keep delivering the maximum value for you guys. So let's get to today's episode. We'll be talking about how to buy profitable online businesses and build different streams of passive income. Today, we have our guest, Jaryd Krause, joining us. Jaryd is an online business mentor, coach, and investor, teaching people how to work less and earn more by buying established online businesses that are already profitable. Jaryd believes that buying and renovating websites is the best way to grow an investment portfolio. Better than real estate, better than stocks, and way better than money in the bank. He also runs Buying Online Business Podcast. If you guys haven't already checked that out, it's one of the largest and also one of the largest communities of people buying and selling successful website businesses so they can ultimately achieve their life goals. So welcome, Jaryd. Super excited to have you on SaaS District Show.
Thanks, Akil. Thanks, Akil. I'm really excited to talk. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So for those people who don't know you, can you share your personal background, past ventures, and how did you get into the online business investment space?
Well, I made this a big, long, drawn-out story, but I used to be a plumber, and I basically I really didn't like it. I disliked it. So I'd quit my job. I'd save up. I'd quit my job. I'd go traveling and then come home and start that process all again. Work through my money whilst I was traveling and come home and work again, save up and travel. On one of my trips, I was like, I can't keep coming back to this lifestyle. I just dislike it massively. And it caused me to do silly things like party too much and work too much and just have not a healthy life. And so on one of my trips, I was like, how do I come home with, or how do I continue to travel without having to go home and be a plumber, right? How do I continue to work? And I thought, I need to do something online. So I literally typed into Google how to travel the world and make money online. And that's how I started in the online business space. It was a bit of a journey from there to get to buying businesses, where I bought into the belief system that to make money online or us to have control of our income, we need to start our own online business or start a business. And I did that. I started a travel blog. I started a little e-commerce business, and I just really struggled to get enough income from those to sustain the lifestyle that I wanted to be able to travel or even to just live off, really. And so when I came back home with my tail between my legs as a plumber, I was reading a lot and just doing all this personal development and trying to work out how I could, get better performance out of my businesses. And I came across this stat that 90% of all startups fail. And I thought, wow, all right, 90% of all startups fail. And one of the big things that a lot of people who achieve some level of success in anything is they're able to change their paradigm. They're able to be a paradigm shifter and pivot when things don't go so well. And the opposite of that is like being attached to a certain outcome and a certain route. And those people get stuck and can't continue forward. So luckily for me, I had this paradigm shift of like, well, if 90% of startups fail, why don't I go away and buy one that's past that 90% failure rate? So then I started that journey to teach myself how to buy one. There's no one around at that time teaching that. And I bought a business and I bought another one and I bought 3 businesses and I went on a trip and then people were like, I went on a business trip, got invited to a business trip to Thailand where people were, the owners were teaching people how to start businesses and run them and grow them. And then everyone there was like, what do you mean? Like you buy these businesses and because everyone was struggling to start their businesses, right? 90% of startups fail on this trip. They're like, dude, you got to teach us this stuff. So I found myself on the bus on each day on excursions, everyone just gathering around and I was teaching. And as I continued to travel, people were like, mate, can you please tell me how this is done? And that's where it started. Just out of need of necessity, people wanted to do the same thing. And that's where I got to what I'm doing with buying online businesses and all that sort of stuff.
Super cool. When was that? Like how many years ago was that? Did you first started that? And then those first 3 websites, can you share what were the size of these deals or where did you find them?
Yep. So I started I started my travel blog, which is my first small business in 2013. And then in 2014, I started my e-commerce business. And then at the end of 2014, I bought my first website business. It was a small business. It was only $15K. And it was a SaaS business, which is quite cool. And then the next one I built on top of that and I bought something that was double that. And it was so the first one I bought off market. It was on Flipper, didn't get sold, so I bought it off market. The second one, where did I buy the second one? The first one was on Flipper. The first one was on Flipper. And then the second one was on Flipper and then I bought it off market. And the third one was bigger than the second one. And I bought that off Empire Flippers, empireflippers.com. And the second one was an e-commerce business. It was drop shipping. And then the third one was an e-commerce business and it was drop shipping as well. And just a heads up to everybody listening is a lot of people that come to me is like, Jaryd, I'm going to quit my job and I buy a business. And I say like, hold on, please don't do that because what you do is you stop yourself from earning an income. And when you do that, you put financial stress on yourself, even though you might have money saved in the bank account. And then you try to scrap together and buy a business as soon as you can so you can get another income. Don't do that. So I had my first 2 businesses were earning more money than my day job before I quit my job. And I just want to put a heads up to people to not rush into this because it takes time and you want to do it the right way.
Makes sense. And then you at that point you had a lot of people reaching out to you. This was kind of an organic business that just naturally fell on your lap, so to speak, by taking action and buying these deals and sharing what you've been doing. What was kind of the vision at that point behind launching buying online businesses? You want to build that community and helping other people buy and selling businesses, build that same lifestyle. And how does that compare versus the other asset classes of investments, which you talked about?
How does buying online businesses compare to those other asset classes like real estate and stocks? Exactly. Yeah, okay. Yeah. Cool. The first part of the question is how it evolved was I just thought, all right, if people want to know this, I'll just create a course and I'll give it away to a few people for free and I'll run them through it and I'll use that as content for the course, for all these lessons. Anyway, I got a bunch of people that were like, yeah, I'll do it. Some friends, some people I met on the road and some people that had some, what I was led to believe, some motivation to really go away and take action. I just didn't want to put people through this. I wanted them to actually take action. And I gave it to them for free, went through the whole thing with them and nobody did anything with it, unfortunately. And I thought, well, I'm sure they love this, but they just didn't have much motivation to do it because they probably because they didn't pay for it. So as soon as I started charging people, which is what I did, and I did one-on-one, it wasn't a membership. It was just one-on-one coaching with myself and the course. And then we started getting people great results. And then it evolved eventually into a membership where people can pay per month to join. And then people, like, as it started scaling, like I couldn't spend any more time on it because I couldn't put any more clients through it because my time was limited, right? So I had to change the business model to a membership, and then people that I do one-on-one coaching with is through my mastermind. To answer your question around the how does buying an online business stack up against other asset classes, and like you said in the start, in the intro, why I believe it's better. Now, there's different variations of better, and I want to explain why. When you buy real estate, so there's different levels of risk in purchasing a business, and there's different levels of like return on investment when you purchase an online business as well, and other asset classes. So let's stack it up against real estate. Real estate is good. You can make a 5, maybe to 10% ROI on your investment. 10% is amazing. If you're getting that, let me know so I can get in on it. But the good thing about, so you've got a lesser income, lesser ROI, but buying real estate, in my opinion, is more stable. Right? The market doesn't move as quickly. There's less environmental changes or risk. I mean, there's still environmental changes, but they're not as drastic as what they are online with Google and Facebook changing their algorithms very, very suddenly. So the risk is decreased with a real estate purchase or a real estate investment, but also the income is decreased. When you buy an online business, you have an increased ROI. So roughly you can achieve a 20 to 30% return on your investment as soon as you buy the business. So you buy the business, you pay the money, and you start getting that 20 to 30% return on your investment back straight away. A lot of my clients are just over the moon when they buy a business, and they're like, oh my God, like I changed the accounts over to mine and I've got money coming into my account from this business. That doesn't happen when you have a startup. It's literally a life-changing thing when you buy an income stream. Right. Anyway, when you're buying an online business, you can achieve that 20 to 30% return on your investment, which is excellent. But you do have those risks which are higher in the online space. And that's why you certainly want to have somebody on your side who knows the environmental changes. And if one of those environmental changes happens and it affects your business, what you can do to course correct. So that's important as well. So I believe that supplementing an income, buying an online business and real estate is good because you've got a low risk and lower ROI, and then a little bit of a higher risk and a higher ROI. And so you can buy an online business for cash and put that cash back in a property. And I think that's a beautiful combination. To stack buying a business up against investing in the stock market, and we could put that under Forex or crypto, whatever it is. Mm-hmm. I used to do the stock market. Why I don't like the stock market anymore is because when you purchase a stock, is you're purchasing an asset you have zero control over.
Right.
And you can't add value to that. With real estate, you can buy it, you can renovate it, you can extend, you can just do a cosmetic makeover inside, and you can put the rental prices up, right? Or you could split it up, you could subdivide, you have potential to add value to it, right? And increase the ROI on that investment. It's the exact same when you buy an online business, right? You can subdivide businesses, you can renovate, you can do all these different things. You can extend, and there's no limit, there's no glass ceiling to how far you can extend with a property. There's height and width ways that you can extend, and there's limitations. So with those businesses, you have control over the asset. You own the asset. A lot of people believe that when they buy a stock, it's like, I own this stock, it's mine. You own a part of it, but you have no control, right? You don't have a big enough share in that business to make moves and add value. So that's why I believe buying an online business, that's how it stacks up, in my opinion, against those other investment classes. And does that make sense, or is there any part that I didn't really explain very well?
No, that makes perfect sense. And I guess the other thing with real estate is, like you said, you can't there's only a limitation on how much you can grow it. Whereas online business, you can keep adding value to it. Because I guess you can't change the location. I mean, the only way you can really add more income, it'll hit a wall at some point, right? Where with online you can keep growing and growing. There's not maybe there's a higher limit. Just for clarity for our audience, so they understand what exactly are the different types of online businesses and what type of established business are you currently acquiring? Because I know you mentioned one, drop shipping. You mentioned e-commerce. What are some other ones that you typically see and are advising your people that you work with to look at?
Yeah, it's a great question. I like to make it super easy, and I used to teach that there's multiple business models, like 7-ish, and now I'm teaching people that there's 3 main business models. The first one is what you talked about, which is e-commerce, right? Mm-hmm. E-commerce is basically where you sell digital or physical products online. Most people associate e-commerce with selling physical products online, like an Amazon business, right? Amazon FBA, which is fulfillment by Amazon for those who don't know, and then owning your own sort of Shopify store or WooCommerce store or website that you're selling physical products. Now that's e-commerce. Now that could mean drop shipping, right? That could mean FBA. That could mean self-product distribution, right? Mm-hmm. So that's e-commerce. And then you have, I'll stick to your sort of asset class last. Then you have content businesses, right? Or content websites. Basically, these are businesses that are producing media. Most people associate these with content sites as being blog posts and texts, right? Mm-hmm. It could be images and it could be video, but they're producing media on their website or on Facebook or on Instagram or on YouTube. And how they make money is through affiliate links and advertising on the content, or affiliate links within the content or descriptions and whatever it is. So most people associate that with being on an actual website, and they call them affiliate sites or ad sites. So they're what I call content/media businesses. And then the last one is SaaS or membership businesses. So where you will pay a monthly, quarterly, or annual fee to get access. And you've got 2 types of SaaS businesses. You've got a media one, and then you've also got you could call it membership or you call it SaaS. Some people like bunch them together. I bunch it together. A membership of media is like when you're paying to use Netflix or Stan, or when you join a membership like mine, you're paying per month to consume the content, and then you also get some service as well. Then you have the proper SaaS, which is what you guys talk about a lot, is software as a service, and people know how that works, right? It could be like an accounting software. It could be some sort of WordPress plugin or tool or whatever.
And what would you consider courses? I guess that's generally with content as well, right? I think people who drive a lot of traffic to YouTube pages, Instagram, then they usually drive them to a course, other than ads and affiliates, right?
Yeah, it would really depend on how the course is delivered, right? If the course is people buy one-time product, right, and say they buy it for $1,000 for the course, then I would say that's like e-com, right? And if there's no serviceability around it and all that sort of stuff, they just buy the course and they get it, then that's like e-com, one-time sale. And then if you're running a course through a membership, it's membership. People paying per month.
Makes sense. So let's talk about valuations, right? Because I think that's another question people want to ask. Okay, what should I be paying for this? You have different type of websites, different performance factors, different factors you look at, as well as like the industry, the niche you're in, the market. How are you generally valuing SaaS businesses when through your acquisitions, and then how do you compare that to the other business models, or would you say they're pretty similar?
Not similar. There's a specific reason. Dropshipping business, or wouldn't say just dropshipping, but e-commerce businesses sell for lesser, and usually the less a business sells for has usually more risk involved. Now, when you're buying an e-commerce business, you really need to understand how to do marketing. You need to be good at it, and or have an agency or team that is good at it, and you're confident and you can rely on them. So e-commerce, and there's people can just come in and it's pretty quick and easy to create an e-commerce business, start it up, and somebody be your competitor. So you have that risk as well. So those multiples are lower. And then I would say you've got content sites in the next, and then you would have SaaS and membership. And the reason SaaS is different to those other two and the multiples are higher for SaaS and membership is because if you think about it just logically, you're buying a database of people that are paying a recurring fee, right? You got recurring income off the bat. You don't need to make one-time sales like in e-com, and also in content, you don't need to keep having more traffic to come to the site to make affiliate sales and ad sales. You've already got people making that, right? It's just what you do with it next is another story, but the risk is decreased, in my opinion. And there's also risk within that business model where you should have a developer do due diligence on the actual software and make sure it's not out of date, and make sure it's not going to cost you a lot of money to update it and change it and make changes and hire a developer to do so. So there is due diligence to be done in all of these businesses. So I wouldn't say just go away and buy a SaaS or membership business because it's, they're a higher multiple and less risk. Well, there's different variations of different risk.
Right. And can you give us some quick numbers on what those different valuations look like? So e-com, what are you paying? I'm assuming based off EBITDA. And what is it on SaaS? Can you give those quick ranges?
Yeah, we'll just stick with EBITDA.
Okay.
So e-com, you can, and again, this is variant on different businesses. And, you can have e-com businesses that like have people recurring and paying. Like if you're selling a perishable like toilet paper or toothpaste and people need to keep buying them or shaving or whatever it is, that's a good e-commerce business. I would change it into a membership myself personally. But so just a heads up when I answer this, it's very business dependent. E-com, you can be paying a multiple of 2 years, right? 2 to 3 years. Okay. Sometimes 4 years. When you e-com, that's e-com. Content or / media businesses, you can be paying anywhere from 2 to 4, maybe 5-ish years. Okay. And then with SaaS, you can be paying anywhere from like 3 to 5 or even 6 years, right?
Yeah.
Like there's and up. It's when you really see the multiple difference change and increase when you go from e-com and content to SaaS. It's evident. It's very evident. Yeah.
Yeah. That's generally what we're seeing as well, and what we're paying when we're looking at SaaS businesses. Where I think especially at our size, I think we're like 3.5, maybe 5 to 5.5. Is what we're paying.
I mean, and you might have seen some people pay like 7, right? There's hedge funds and stuff like, especially in your space, like the capital that can get raised, and if they've already got a platform business, which is I don't know if you want to get into what all that means for private equity, but if you've got another business that you can bolt on to the business you're purchasing and it's in the same niche, it's just wowza, the ROI is great.
Yeah, exactly. That's a different strategy, but I think for those people who have that a capability, I think it's huge. What's your general kind of offer structure on these online businesses? Are you generally paying 100% cash up front on these deals, or how do you like to structure it for managing the risk and the risk with buying any business?
It depends on the size of the business. Anything around or under the 100, 150K is usually cash. Then you can supplement that with getting an SBA loan in America. And you could possibly do this in other places. The financing isn't very open and abundant for buying online businesses, basically. The banks and institutional lenders aren't seeing these as assets yet, which is just weird because they make so much, probably more money than, if you look at the data, than rental properties and stuff like that. But anyway, that's a side subject. Mostly all cash. If you can do finance, great, because that's, it's a longer drawn out process. Then you've got different structures where you can do seller financing and you can put a percentage down payment and then pay out, per month over, say, a 3-month or 6-month period. It depends on your terms and agreements with the seller and how flexible the seller is as well. That also really decreases your risk because you've also got the owner tied to the business still whilst you're making those repayments. Normally, we'll see that a down payment will be 60 to 90% of the business price, and then the rest will be repayments over a certain period of time. So that's seller you can do that as an earnout, and then you have seller financing, which is doing the same structure, but you're paying interest on the repayments. Mm-hmm. And then you can also have seller notes, right, or calls, and where if the business underperforms, you pay lesser for your repayments, or the business performs higher throughout the repayment period, then you can pay a little bit more as well. And this can work in your favor if you have the owner teaching you what you need to do to grow the business and you're making repayments, and if you hit a certain level, you pay more, the owner will be more likely to really motivate you and push you and give you great information and education on how to grow the business so they can get higher repayments as well. And it's a win-win for both. What I would suggest for somebody that is going to go down that route is don't do this, the yucky thing of, I'm going to grow the business to this certain level and I'm going to stop putting my energy and input into it. That's just not good. That's just the previous owner is going to know that, and what you're going to do is you're going to ruin your reputation. And reputation is, I say, and your relationships are and can be more valuable than the business you end up purchasing alone. Because what opportunity can come from that relationship, even not directly with that person, but relationships with that seller and their connection, the opportunities can be incredible. So,
makes sense.
Don't ruin your reputation by doing these yucky, seedy things.
Yeah. Hiding revenue and whatnot to not pay the earnout. And also in Canada, they have BDC. I know they're also starting to open up and they're looking at more deals and they're open to this space. So I think it's getting interesting times, but I think we still have a long way to go before more traditional banks are looking at these deals, right?
Yeah.
So for those in our audience, maybe they're looking to build their own online business portfolio like you have, or you teach some of your clients, and also build that lifestyle as well. Where should I start looking, and where are the best places that you recommend? Is it brokers or off the market? Should I talk to my friends? Where should I be looking?
When you're first starting, if you just start, if you've got a bunch of friends and you're already in business, it's definitely go to your, get some private deal flow and go to your private network. Most people starting this, they probably just heard like, wow, okay, I can buy a business. What you don't want to do is you don't want to go to a marketplace where people can self-list their own businesses for sale. You run into problems there where you look at a bunch that look good, but you do due diligence and you're just wasting your time because a lot of those listings are dud listings, and I like to call them lemons. People will be buying lemons. I only suggest going there if you've got experience, you've bought a business before, you know how to do due diligence. If not, and you're just new to this, go to Google and type in websitebrokers.com. And there's so many, right? There's so many. Like people listening to your show, they've probably heard of feinternational.com. They sell a lot of SaaS sites. You got empireflippers.com, you got motioninvest.com, you got quietlightbrokerage.com, investorsclub.com. or investors.club. Like check out those guys. But yeah, there's a lot, there's just more people coming up.
also
Starting brokerages.
Like Andrew from MicroAcquire, if you guys haven't checked out, if you're looking more into SaaS, MicroAcquire is a great place as well. Cool. So I've managed all those different business models which you mentioned. I've been involved in all of them and ran them. Each requires, I would say, a different level of skill set, right? What kind of skills do you generally need and share with your clients to focus on in order to figure out how to operate this type of business? Because they're coming in as engineers or marketers or whatever, some job that they're working on, plumbers. How do you kind of learn those skill sets to be able to, or what should they be focusing on?
It really depends on their goals. It depends on what they want to do within the business, not how they want to grow the business, but what they want, like combined with what they want to do in the business as well. So normally people will buy a business in the community and they'll send to the mastermind where I teach them how to scale and grow it. And in there is, I like to sit down with them and go, all right, what's working in the business? What's not working in the business? Let's scrap everything that's not working. Let's focus on what is working and let's build processes and systems around it. And what of those tasks do you want to do, right, in the business, right? So do you want to be doing the marketing or the SEO, right? Do you want to be doing the customer service if there isn't any? And do you want to be producing the content? What part do you want to do? If you don't want to do any of it, that's okay as well, right? So the part that you do want to do is upskill in that level, go all in on it, right? The parts that you don't want to do, if you don't, and you don't have to do any as well, let's build a process and a system and hire a team around that. And what I do is I basically teach people how to hire and build and be the owner of the business, not the operator, unless they want to be the operator. For smaller businesses, I suggest people do become an operator and learn that part of the business that they do love and outsource the other parts. And then once they've learned that, what they can do is, you can do this if you have a team, or you can do this if you're an operator yourself, is you've built something that is more powerful than the business. You've built the engine of the business, and that's highly leverageable. So once you've learned that skill or built that system, you can go out and look at businesses that require that are inferior to the business that you have, that you can buy, and then you can push this engine into that business. And that's just a beautiful thing.
Yeah, I mean, there's something about operating and learning the ropes and weeds kind of, firsthand before, going up and buying bigger and bigger businesses. I think you get that confidence level. You know what to look for, how to hire around it. And then I think it just gives you the confidence to be able to do more deals and keep growing. So I think,
I must apologize as well. I may not have answered that question in a way that your listeners may have hoped to know what skills they should be learning. So let me at least sort of highlight each of those three categories of what they should focus on if they're going to purchase one of those businesses. Ecom, focus on being an excellent marketer, really good at digital marketing, and pick one channel, right? If you're going to pick Facebook, stick to that one and get great at it. YouTube, stick to that, get great at it. Instagram, whatever it is. And then, focus on marketing. Content is, I would focus on SEO, right? Being really good at SEO. And then with SaaS is, what I would do personally is, I'm not a developer, so I would have a developer team or virtual assistants to do the developing part. And then I would focus on marketing as well, mainly content marketing. What you're doing, which is awesome.
Yeah, another thing that I think we use and I think applies across all of them is probably really good at conversion rate optimization. I think that's something I think people should learn. I think it can give you some quick wins if you're looking to grow the company. Let's use a scenario here. You're a 9 to 5, maybe making a 6-figure salary. That's somebody in our audience. White collar job, blue collar job, plumber, engineer, marketing, VP of finance or sales. And you want to consider this route, right? You want to replace your income and you'll have that flexibility and freedom. Which model would you focus on, trying to acquire first from those three you mentioned? What would you say is the easier route for somebody who doesn't have that skill set?
The lower barrier to entry would be content, in my opinion, because when you buy an e-commerce, I mean, SaaS is good as well. You could probably put them in the same boat. I wouldn't suggest getting into e-com because you want to ensure that you're great at doing marketing, right? You want to be able to ensure you can produce the same result, if not better. And if you can't, you need to hire an agency, and to find a good agency is just really hard. You're going to go through a few and you're going to spend a lot of money to find the right one. So I'd say get into e-com. Content is, you can hire writers quite cheap. You can get great, you can have people produce articles for you that do like content management services and build backlinks and all that sort of stuff. I'd say the barrier to entry is pretty low on that because you can outsource tasks pretty easily and start to learn SEO on the fly, and the business doesn't need your immediate attention to continue to produce a result. You could leave that business for a matter of months and it could still, and we see people leave their business for a year or more and sell them and they're still producing decent returns. Right. When you come to SaaS, it depends on what business you buy in the SaaS. If if the due diligence checks out and the software's up to date and the marketing system's working quite well, you've got time to learn how to do some marketing and learn how to do what you said, CRO, right? Conversion rate optimization. So I would put that in the same boat as content as well, because you're buying a customer base. There are some other things that you probably want to learn prior to buying a SaaS business, and that would be like how to decrease churn, right, and increase retention. And that is a pretty valuable skill. But if the business has been ticking along for quite a while, then the barrier to entry can be quite small for SaaS as well. Yeah. Would you agree?
I would agree. I think if the only thing I would say with ecom and SaaS, the difference being is that you have more roles and responsibilities that need to be filled. Whereas with a product, with the content, like you need writers and maybe a little bit of marketing. You can learn, but it's not very time consuming. With ecom, you're dealing with suppliers, you're dealing with the refunds, customer service. Amazon. With SaaS, you got tech. If you need to make changes, something changes, and there's an update on for the software database, or you lose something. You need customer support. You need managing your clients. You need product, and then there's market. So I think there's just a little bit more to manage. So if you're first starting, maybe it could be a little overwhelming.
Oh, it's so good, and that's such a juicy topic that you just brought up. Is the is the customer service. Like, I'm helping a client in the mastermind build out his customer service team, and there's a bit that goes into not just doing customer service, but building out a team to do it. So that's a really good shout out. Yeah,
right? Yeah, and that's just one part of the business, right? And then you still have to keep managing, and then managing people, right? That's always time a challenge in itself. So another common question people have in this space is they're debating, right? Should I be starting versus buying? You mentioned the 90% risk failure, but why should they consider buying this established business? They're paying a lot more upfront. They're taking on that risk of those hidden problems that they may not find during due diligence and the previous owner may have hide, versus like just investing in building their own online business and starting from scratch.
Great question. My partner and I went for a walk yesterday afternoon, and she asked me a similar question. It's like, why would we're talking about like how easy it is for online business mentors such as myself, but a little bit different, teach people to start an online business versus buy one. The barrier to entry is very cheap and very easy. You can get a lot more. You can get a lot more people to come and work with you, and you can sell your products and services a lot easily because people are taught that you don't need a lot of money to start an online business. But when you buy one, you need to have that upfront cost. Why would I suggest still buying an online business, and why do I believe it's less risky, right? Even though you're spending all that money up front. The answer is that when you start an online business, you do have that 90% failure rate, but what does that consist of, right? Well, one thing that you need to find is this thing called product market fit. That can be hard, right? And people, this is one of the hardest things is finding product market fit. And you can go through a lot of products, and you can spend a lot of money trying to sell this product that nobody wants to buy, right? And you can build this website, and there's a lot of cost that goes into that as well. And then even when you do find product market fit, right, you'll start selling it, then you really need to evolve that marketing machine, right? I wouldn't call it a machine, it's a system. And to build that up to scale and grow the business into something that's quite decent. When you buy an online business, somebody's got that product market fit for you. They've built that marketing machine, that sales machine, and they don't have just product market fit, but they've got proof of concept that the business as a system, as a whole works. And you can buy a business with a team. I've bought a business with a team before. And it's why I believe it's less risk is because you realize your profits a lot quicker. When you start an online business, is you can go through a year, 2, 3 years, sometimes more, without even getting a return on your investment. If you don't know how to project the growth of a business, then you could run out of money and you can be left high and dry. Happens to a lot of people. When you buy an online business, you know exactly, you're within a ballpark range. If you buy a $100,000 business, you know that you're going to be making around $30,000 a year, right? And you're going to get those payments in monthly payments. So that's why I believe buying an online business is less risky, because the whole the whole thing is proven and you're buying a whole system.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. Last question kind of around let's talk about due diligence, because I feel that's another scary part, right? Because when you're starting from scratch, you got those hidden things to look for. I mean, you don't have those issues. The field is open. You can do whatever you want. But what would you say are some of the most common red flags you can show the audience that they should be looking at on the websites or the business during the due diligence process and help them reduce their risk and their failure rate, post-acquisition?
It depends on the business model, but I'm going to try and stick to ones that are very general but important that people will not even consider is a risk that will be across all business models. One is single source dependency on traffic. All content, mainly all content websites have this risk, right? Where they get most of their traffic from Google. You can see some that get a bunch from Pinterest and some social, and some people build out an email list. That's okay. And that's going to help decrease the risk. But single source dependency on traffic is really, really important. Just a few days ago, somebody jumped into the community, and what I do is I go through their due diligence, right? So I make sure they don't buy a lemon and I just check it. This business he looked at, 53% of the traffic was going to one article that was ranked on Google. Imagine the ramifications if that article got debunked and got lost in the rankings. He could lose 53% of his traffic. What's the second and third order consequence and the compounding of that, right? We can have positive compound, we can have negative compounding. That is that 53% of the traffic is going away, 53% of the revenue is gone.
Right.
Crazy.
Yeah.
So that's one risk. And that's across all businesses. E-com, if you're just selling on Facebook and Facebook shuts down your ad account, it's happened to me before. It's happened to just recently. I don't know if you're seeing this, but so many people that I know have just had their Facebook ad account shut down. Yeah. And it happened to me, right?
I don't know. I don't get it. Yeah. It happens. Yeah. We have to create a new account, but so far we're good. Let's see.
Yeah, it's a part of the environmental changes that happen and the algorithm changes. And so what happens is you're making 20 grand a month from sales, or 50 grand a month from sales, or 100 grand, or whatever it is, through Facebook ads, and your ad account gets shut down. That's single source dependency on traffic. Your ad account gets shut down. You can't do marketing. You can't make money. You lose your business, right? For however long it takes you to scrap around to put together some marketing system on other platform, which is another thing that you need to get proof of concept and build this system again. So single source dependency on traffic is massive, that most people don't even consider when doing due diligence. The second one is single source dependency as well, but single source dependency on revenue. Okay. Imagine that I have a SaaS business that sells a very powerful, it's a very powerful tool that a business needs to run their business, right? And you've got one client, right? And they're paying $2,000 a month, right? So the business is making 24 grand a year. Or even if they're paying $10,000 a month, right? You're making 120 grand a year. You're like, I got a great business. Look at me go. You lose that client, you've lost your business.
Right.
So that's single source dependency on revenue. And it's even if not just one, that's single source dependency on one client, right? But single source dependency revenue on even Amazon, right? Affiliate commissions, like they changed their affiliate commissions from 8% to 3%, 2 to 3%. You can lose 60% of your business. I've seen people I know lose 60% of their income or revenue, from environmental changes because they're single source dependence on one revenue stream. So they're really, really, really important.
Yeah, I've had all those happen to me. So I think our first site I bought, I think a Google Ads account shut down. Had to get that reinstated. We had another site that, a lot of the traffic was, I think it was 40% of the traffic and, lost some ranking a little bit. Have an Amazon ads account shut down. And I think also with SaaS, another thing is, we also look for, so you mentioned the one client. So we also look at anything below, 30%. So does 30% of revenue make up, just from one client? If so, then, we put a lot of, earn out component to that structure, because, if we lose that one client, I think that's anything over 30%, I think is a little risky. And I think the same would be with traffic as well.
Yeah, that's great. That's a great little system to put in place.
Yeah. That's just what we found, but different risk tolerance, people can go higher or lower. What would you say is your general kind of growth playbook, that's worked best for you? Post-acquisition on your investments, and you say generate the best returns. If someone's looking to replicate your success, what are you teaching your clients? What are the areas they should be investing on for maybe say the quickest wins?
This is a great question, and it really depends on the business. Again, it's business dependent, but let's stick to, you've got principles, strategies, and tactics, right? Mm-hmm. A lot of people want to learn the tactics. These change because the environment changes, right? If I get really, really good at learning how to do Amazon PPC and my ad account got shut down, I've just learned a tactic that's not going to serve me in another area. So then you've got the strategies and then you've got the principles. I like to stick to principles and strategies. One principle that I like to teach is, and I've already said this before, like in this episode, when people buy a business and they come into my mastermind, I work out what's not working in the business. Why is it not working? Scrap that. What is working? And let's focus on that and do it better. So a lot of people, I'll give you an example, will come to me and Jaryd, I'm going to buy this e-commerce business. It's got 3 products for sale or 4 products for sale. And in my due diligence framework that they fill out, I ask, what are some low-hanging fruits and some ways you can grow the business. A lot of people will say, Jaryd, I'm going to add more products to the site. And a lot of people thinking, listen to this might be like, oh, that's a good idea. You can sell more, you can make more money because you got more products. It's ridiculous. It's the reason I believe it's ridiculous is because if you've got 3 products and you got one that is selling more than the other 2, is stop. And those other 2 aren't selling so well, is then you can stop marketing and having a sales funnel to those 2 products and put all your energy into that one product and just sell more of that, right? What's not working? Those 2 products aren't selling so good. What's working really well? That number 1 is, let's not add more to the business and be confused and try and wear all these different hats. Let's just focus on one thing that's working really, really well, and let's just sell the hell out of it and provide a better sales journey for somebody. And put all of our, if we're getting a better, and sometimes people might go, oh, I'm going to look at the profit margin of different products as well. And they go, okay, well, this $1,000 product, it may be a exercise, it might be a home exercise gym equipment. So say it says $1,000, right? Mm-hmm. They go, cool. I'm going to sell this for $1,000 and my profit margin is $500. So I'm just going to focus on this because it's a higher profit margin. Right. That doesn't always equal more money, right? It's harder to sell a $1,000 item than say a $500 item. And maybe you make 50% or maybe you make 20 to 30 or 40% profit margin on that $250 or $500 item, and you're making around $200, you're going to need to sell more of those, but it's easy to sell. And people want that. More people want that than the home exercise equipment, right? So build most of your marketing around that product and build out a really good sales funnel and buyer's journey for that product and sell that like hotcakes. And you're going to make more money with less effort. You're working on less things, except for you've got hyper focus on something, and this is what I suggest people do is no tactical stuff. No, all right, I'm going to learn how to build a really good link building outreach team. I'm going to learn how to become an SEO. I'm going to learn how to do all these things that are valuable. I'm not saying they're not valuable, but if you stick to the higher level and you understand business from a different point of view, you can make your life so much easier and you can make so much more money. And my goal isn't to make more money, really. It's to have less stress in my life. And a way to have less stress in my life is to not have to focus on too many more products, too many more blog posts, articles, tactics, and 5 marketing campaigns. Just have one that works really well.
So simplify, man. Love it. Jaryd, this is good. Let's kind of switch to kind of the rapid fire questions. You obviously take your time how you want to answer it. But what's,
cool.
I don't know if you already just answered this, but what's one piece of advice you wish I had known and would tell your 25-year-old self?
Slow down. What I would like to tell my 25-year-old self is that understand the power of compounding and understand that if you just stick to a good course, a good path, don't put this pressure and stress on yourself like that you need to achieve these things like that overnight. Because what you do is you have a frame of mind, especially when, and this is probably common for most people, like it was for me, is that I believe that I don't have time, right? And time is against me, and I need to achieve this result yesterday. What happens is that puts stress and pressure on myself, and I don't perform as well, and I don't get as good a results. What I'd like to tell my 25-year-old self is to completely flip that, right? Have a complete paradigm shift and say, look, if you're just heading towards a direction that's going to be good and there's going to be growth in that, then don't tell yourself that time is against you and you need to achieve a result yesterday. Flip it and say, time is on my side, and understand why time's on my side. Time is on my side because of compounding growth, second and third order consequences. And that would allow me as the 25-year-old version of myself to relax, have less stress, less pressure, and achieve better results without the stress of going, I needed to achieve it yesterday. And that's what I would tell my 25-year-old self, is to understand that time is not against you. Time is with you.
Love it. Well, then you're so focused on the result rather than the process, because you're just so, living in the future.
Yeah.
Jaryd, who or what would you say are the best 3 resources? These could be books or people, mentors, people you follow, who you'd say have been the most instrumental to your success over these last few years.
I would say Roger Hamilton. He's got a great book called Your Life, Your Legacy, and he helps us understand how to get into a good flow state and understand what you're good at as your particular, if you're going to call it an archetype or whatever it is, but what you're good at and how to build not just a team, but build a relationship with a bunch of people around you that are better at the things that you're not good at. And I think that's been hugely valuable for me is working out what I'm good at, only focusing at I do the same thing with myself that I do with my businesses, is scrap the stuff that I suck at and just focus on the things that I'm good at, and it comes naturally to me. And then those things that I suck at is like, who's awesome at it. Right. And let's bring them into my sphere. So Roger Hamilton, Your Life, Your Legacy has been really good. Emotional intelligence has helped me insanely, especially when I was like from my 25-year-old version of myself in that period. Learning emotional intelligence. And there's a great book on that from Ryan Holiday. It's called The Obstacle is the Way.
Nice. Great book. Yeah.
I love this book. Most people in my community read this book. And then Keith Cunningham as well. I love Keith Cunningham. Have you heard of Keith Cunningham before?
I haven't, no.
But you heard of Rich Dad Poor Dad? Robert Kiyosaki?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Keith Cunningham is the rich dad. Okay. He's Robert Kiyosaki's mentor, and he's got a great book called The Road Less Stupid. Amazing book, and it's all about questions. Like Tony Robbins says, the quality of your questions determines the quality of your life, and Keith Cunningham has an amazing book on that. And the last one is somebody last year pointed me towards this guy, and he was a venture capitalist. I think he still may be, massive investor in huge businesses. But why I love this guy is because he's just got a beautiful philosophy on business and life. And his name's Naval Ravikant, I think it's pronounced.
Yeah.
You've heard of him?
I knew you were going to say that. As soon as you said, VC backed, I knew you were going to say him. Yeah, I do know him. He's awesome. Yeah.
He's amazing. He's got a great free book called The Naval Manac that you can just Google and get. And I'd suggest reading that. And I really resonate with a lot of his philosophies. So they're the ones that have really helped me a lot. Yeah.
Yeah. All great people. We'll link those to the show notes for people to check out. Jaryd, what does success mean to you today? Whether it's personally, financially, life, business? No right answer.
Less stress.
Every day, just living less stressful. Eh?
Less stress. Like my partner pulled me up yesterday and was like, because I've Facebook shut down my ad account and I've just built out all these sales systems and stuff. Like I've already had them running whilst my Facebook ad account had been working. And I don't want to settle for less. I want really, really good. So I just put a lot of work into making them even better. And I've been trying to do it really quick. And I had this battle with myself, like I mentioned before, that I should have been telling myself today, even though I'm not 25, is that, hey, time's with me, like time's on my side. So that's something that I still battle with. And my goal is to just have less stress. And my partner pulled me up, was like, why are you confident this is going to work? I'm like, yeah, of course it's going to work. She's like, why are you worrying about it? I'm like, fuck. Like, excuse my language. I'm like, exactly. Like, you're spot on. Like, thank you for pulling me up. So that's my goal is less stress. Like, time's on my side, less stress. It's, if I'm heading in a direction that feels good to me, then I'm winning.
That's a very, very good piece of advice for everybody listening in. Thank you so much. This has been fantastic, Jaryd. Where can our audience get in touch with you and learn more about you and also learn about your program if they're interested?
Sure. Email me at jaryd@buyingonlinebusinesses.com. So buyingonlinebusinesses plural.com. That's also my website, buyingonlinebusinesses.com. What I'd suggest is first sort of suss me out. If you didn't really get enough from me in this podcast episode, is listen to my podcast and see if like I fit your style of teaching, I fit your style of philosophy and it works well with you. If so, then you can just go through my content and you can check out my website and find all the stuff there. Awesome.
Thank you so much, Jaryd. I appreciate you jumping on SaaS District Show today.
Thanks, Akil. I greatly appreciate being here. It was fun.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Thank you all for watching this episode and joining SaaS District today. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for future episodes where we interview top leaders in the SaaS industry. If you're a SaaS company looking to grow and unlock the true value of your business, get in touch with us at Horizon Capital, and myself or one of our consultants will provide a free assessment to help you get there and hit your goals. If you have any feedback or suggestions for this podcast, please comment down below and help us improve our content for you all. Thanks again and see you on the next one.